Hello, welcome to the John Ark Show. This episode is called Crime Against the Ultra Rich is Exploding. Today we're going to answer some viewer questions. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and follow us. I'd also like to tell you about a service called HollywoodIsCalling.com. It's a great service that allows you to purchase live phone calls from your favorite celebrities, so check them out. You can purchase a live 15-second call for $19.95 or a live 30-second call for $29.95. There are more than 100 celebrities to use on holidays, special occasions, birthdays. So give it a try. HollywoodIsCalling.com. Now let's get started. Antof writes, we live in an ultra-rich community that is gated, and we're seeing an increase in crime inside of the community and nearby. What should we do? First, you need to network your surveillance cameras and make the video feed from every camera visible to every resident within the community, online or on their phones. That means that if something weird is going on a block away, then you or other residents can pull up the camera view from that location and see what's going on. The next thing you need to do is to get an armed security guard. Hiring some retired guy to sit in a booth for an 8-hour shift without a weapon, some guy that's going to take 3 naps a day, that's not going to work. You need to hire off-duty cops who are armed and able to protect your community. Next, you need aggressive patrolling. I'm not talking about a guy walking around the neighborhood every 3 or 4 hours to see if anything is going on. I'm talking about constant physical and electronic patrolling and surveillance. Your surveillance cameras need to have AI software that will detect unusual behavior and bring it to the attention of your security detail and of every neighborhood in the community, so that multiple eyes can see what's going on. You should also keep weapons in your home to protect your family, because if recent events are any indication of what's to come, then having the training and the ability to protect yourself and your home is extremely important. If things really got bad, it may be the only thing that saves your lives. Next, you have to start using the money and the influence that the people in your community have to increase the funding for law enforcement with the provision that they spend more time fighting crime and civil disobedience and less time sitting around giving traffic tickets to people who drive 2 miles over the speed limit. The next thing you may want to do is to control traffic flow in and around the community. Instead of allowing multiple points of entry and exit into your community, you may want to change the streets in a way that forces everyone to come in through a one security gate. One thing you may want to do is to restrict or even prevent any visitor from entering the community if they present their ID and a computer background check at the gate indicates that they have a felony conviction. You don't want some pizza delivery guy with 5 felonies coming in and scoping out the neighborhood for a future crime. You need to be able to stop him before he enters. Lastly, you want to increase the amount of interaction with your neighbors. Gated communities are famous for people not knowing each other because they're too self-isolated and too self-important to mix with the neighbors. Get to know each other, interact, and socialize occasionally. That will make you feel better, and it will make it easier to look out for each other by exchanging information. Next, we have a question from Renee. Renee writes, I've got a Ferrari that has been stolen 3 times, and each time I get it back, it's damaged. What should I do? The first thing you should do is to put an electronic tracking device on it that calls your cell phone the minute your car is broken into or stolen. The next thing you should do is, if possible, store the car in a garage instead of outside. Lastly, you should put an electronic kill switch on it so that the car can't be started without you. That should help slow them down. Next, we have a question from Angel. Angel writes, I can't believe how the price of food is skyrocketing. Is there a better way to save money? Yes. Try and buy food at a smaller, independently owned fruit market. The larger grocery chains all seem to have higher prices. The smaller, independently owned fruit markets and grocery stores tend to have more affordable prices. Also, though you may need to purchase larger quantities, places like Costco and BJ's tend to have better pricing. Another thing you should consider doing is to buy locally grown food from independent farmers in your area. People don't realize that when a large grocery store chain sells an apple for $1, and that's about what they cost these days, very little of that money goes to the farmer. The grocery chain keeps most of it for themselves. So when you deal directly with the farmers in your area, you can get a better price, and they can make much more money selling to people than they can to the chains. Next, Joy writes, we live in Hawaii, and the drug problem is horrific. How can I prevent my kids from being affected by this? Well, you have to talk to them regularly and supervise who their friends are. If their friends are the least bit strange or creepy, then tell your child to stop associating with them, because 9 times out of 10, drug usage or availability is introduced by a friend or a romantic partner. Tell your child the minute somebody offers them drugs, then that person is not really a friend. Next, we have a question from Vegas George. George writes, we live and work in Vegas, and the economy has been completely decimated here. It's almost apocalyptic. Should we wait it out or relocate now before things get more desperate? I believe that even that if all the recent problems went away tomorrow, it would still take a year or two for people to get comfortable with the idea of throwing away their money on slot machines or card tables. I think that people have been so financially traumatized by what they've seen and experienced this year that it'll take a while for them to adapt to the new changes. I also believe that a certain percentage of people will never be comfortable again with the idea of throwing money away at the gambling tables. There's also another issue for all the people who work in the gaming industry in Vegas. It's clear that the online gambling industry is going to grow in size, and it's only a matter of time before people are allowed to gamble on anything they want online. That means that many of the jobs serving the physical or brick and mortar gambling industry and casinos, those jobs are going to go away. So keep that in mind. The more the online gaming sector grows, the more physical jobs in the gaming industry will disappear. Next, Bill writes, I'm 100 pounds overweight. None of these diets seem to work. What can I do? First, go to your doctor and get a checkup. Then I want you to do 2 things. First, go on a low-carb diet, eliminate all the breads, pasta, French fries, potato chips, and pizza. All those processed carbs need to disappear from your house and from your diet. You can Google what is a low-carb diet, and you'll find a list of all the foods that you can eat. The next thing you need to do is to start a disciplined exercise regime. You can now join a National Health Club for $9.99 a month. Go every other day. Start out slow and cautiously by lifting light weights with a higher number of repetitions. Also, use the elliptical machine to get your cardio. It's a great way to get cardio without a lot of impact that may hurt your joints. The best combination of exercise is cardio and resistance training. Also, you need to stop smoking and drinking. People don't realize this, but alcohol turns into sugar the minute you consume it. You're basically bombarding your body with sugar when you drink alcohol. Make sure you go through the kitchen and eliminate all the processed foods. If it comes in a can, a carton, a plastic bag, then toss it out. Stay away from all the fast food restaurants. These places are what keep the emergency rooms at hospitals so busy and so rich. I have a theory, and that is that if the government were to order every crappy fast food restaurant in the country to close immediately, then within a month or two, Hospitals and their emergency rooms would see their businesses drop by 75%. These people are these fast food restaurants are artery clogging factories. Most health problems and obesity are caused by the garbage processed foods people eat at these restaurants. So eliminate all of that and many of your problems will go away. Aaliyah writes, I can't stop gambling no matter how hard I try. Any advice? You need to turn the control of your finances over to your spouse or a trusted family member because this kind of situation always ends the same way. You will lose everything. Your house, your car, your spouse, and all your money. One thing the gambling industry and the casinos never like to talk about is how many of their customers commit suicide each year. The reason they don't like to talk about that number is because because it's very, very disturbing and it's a very large number. Statistically speaking, degenerate gamblers commit suicide much more often than members of the non-gambling population, the non-addicted to gambling population. So if it comes down to it, your family may need to do an intervention with you because at the end of the day, it's a disorder. Being addicted to gambling can destroy you the same way that being addicted to drugs or alcohol can compromise you. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and we will talk to you soon.